Hey all, welcome back. This is me Monica Sharma and welcome to MS Bio Academy. And today in this particular video we are going to cover about the latest status of the vaccine against this novel strain of coronavirus which is causing this COVID-19 disease. So we are going to talk about that. Also we are going to talk about that how many countries have successfully isolated this particular strain of virus, and also we are going to talk about the symptoms which occur due to this viral infection and the diagnosis method which doctors are using for detection of this particular virus, and what are the treatment procedure which they are following. So everything we are going to cover up in this particular video, so stay tuned till the end. All the information is available in this video. So before starting this video, let me give you a very good news regarding the success stories and the success points which have come regarding this particular virus. So ICMR has already, the Indian Council of Medical Research, it has already announced that they have successfully isolated this particular virus which is causing this disease, COVID-19 disease, right? So this is a very good news. Why it is a good news? Because in order to make any vaccine or any drugs against any particular virus, we need to first isolate that. Now since this has been done, now scientists can work on these viruses, they can study them well at the genetic level, and then they can progress in making drugs or the vaccine against it. So being they have isolated this virus, India has become now the 5th country to isolate these strains. NIV, the National Institute of Virology, Pune, has already isolated 11 strains of this virus. So India has become the 5th country after Japan, Thailand, US and China. So this is a very proud moment. So hopefully now the vaccine will come soon in the market. Now another good news is that the Jaipur doctors, they have also claimed that they have used a combination of drugs of anti-malarial, anti-HIV and anti-swine flu drugs against 4 of the patients, and out of the 4, the 3 patients has already proved better in curing with these combination of drugs. So this is also a good sign. These combination of drugs is also being used for the 4th patient also, and the treatment still going on for the 4th patient. So hopefully that will also come out with a positive results. That's we are hoping. So this is again a good news from Jaipur doctors of SMS hospital, right? Still the efficacy of this particular combination of drugs is yet to come, because you cannot just say on the basis of just 4 patients that yes, worldwide we can use these combination drugs for the treatment of patients against the COVID-19 disease. But we can say that this is a good sign in treating the patients at present time, because we don't have any drugs available, we don't have any vaccine available till today. So for a time being we can use that combination of drugs for the treatment. Then again one more news which has come is that the first human trial of the vaccine is already started in the US. So this is again a very good news. So soon we may get the vaccine available against this particular virus, although it is not like that since the trial has already started, the human trial, so you will get the vaccine tomorrow or maybe in 1 month. It will take approximately 18 months to come this vaccine in the market, because it takes a lot of time to develop a vaccine. It is not a very easy task. But this is a good news that already the human trial is started at least, so, and the work will progress. Let's see, let's hope it should come very soon. So this is regarding the latest news, latest updates regarding the vaccine status and the drugs which doctors have used again treatment of the COVID-19 disease patients. So let's have a brief idea about what is this coronavirus outbreak. So as you all might be knowing that this has started from a Wuhan city in China, and from the seafood market some of the people were found to be infected with this particular virus, and then this virus slowly spread in globally in all over the world, and started with the epidemic and then outbreak, and finally now it has been declared that it is a pandemic disease, or it is a pandemic infection which is causing everywhere in the entire world. So let's study the detail about this particular virus. Now before starting that, let's have a knowledge regarding the basic thing, that what is a virus actually, what is a virus in a normal way. So virus, you might have heard about the common flu virus also. So viruses are basically, they are the non-cellular particle which are made up of genetic material and the proteins. So they are made up of only these two things only. So genetic material means they may be either made up of RNA or a DNA, and they may be made up of these proteins. So the spike like things which you can see here in this particular image, these are the proteins. Only these two things they are made up of. And very important thing about these viruses is that they need a host cell to replicate themselves. So basically they need some living cells to replicate themselves. On non-living things, they cannot survive for a longer time, right? So they normally can use their host as a animal source, or they can use it as a human beings also as their host, right? So that's why you are seeing that most of the viruses, they comes from the animals. When the human beings come in contact with these animals, this infection will pass on to the humans also, and then from human to human this infection spreads. So basically they need a host cells for them to replicate or to spread their infection in a larger scale. But if I talk about the non-living things, for example in plastics, they generally survive for only 3 days. Even on the stainless steel, they survive only for the 3 days. And if I talk about the copper, on copper they survive for almost 4 hours, and on cardboard they survive for 24 hours. So that is only the time duration they survive on the non-living things, otherwise they die. In the air, if I talk about, in the air also they survive only for 3 hours. After that they die, until and unless they don't find any host or the living cells for them to replicate. So that's why it is being mentioned everywhere on the WHO website also, everywhere the messages which are being passed on for this COVID-19 spread, that the prevention method is only that whenever you touch all these non-living materials also, even it is a door handle made up of stainless steel or metal, just wash your hands after that with a soap, because soap generally kills all these viruses. So just wash it, and then you will be safe. And one more important thing about these viruses is that normally if the virus is just like a common flu or a common cold viruses, normally our immune system has that capacity, the inbuilt immune system which we have has that capacity that it will fight against all these viruses and will kill them automatically without taking any medications, right, against them. So normally you must have seen that whenever we get the common cold, we normally get cure within 1 week or so, right? Why? Because our immune system fight against it. But sometimes what happens, these viruses become very severe. For example, the coronavirus, which is nowadays we are seeing that our immune system is not capable of fighting against them, and that's why it becomes like a severe concern, and that's why we need a kind of a new medicine or new vaccine against them, right? But it is difficult to develop a vaccine or a drugs against viruses. Why? Because viruses keep on mutating themselves very rapidly. So if this virus is of this shape, sometimes after a few duration of time, they may mutate themselves and change their structure. So the development of the vaccine against them or the drugs against them is quite difficult and challenging for the researchers, right? And if this mutations occurs in, if let's suppose in a very like in a common cold flu kind of condition, then still our immune system is able to combat against them. But sometimes what happens, these viruses will mutate themselves into a very deadly viruses, for example the coronaviruses. And coronaviruses have the history that they have caused a severe kind of diseases in the past also. For example, you must be aware of one of the disease which is caused by the coronavirus known as SARS corona outbreak, which happened in 2002, and it spread from the bat, that is the animal source. Normally the bat is the main source of all sort of coronaviruses. Varieties of coronaviruses are present on the bats, and from the bats this virus is transferred to the civet cat, and the civet cat then transfer this virus to the humans, and then the outbreak which happened in 2002 is the SARS virus. Then again one more outbreak happened in 2012, which is passed on from the bats only to the camels, and then from the camels to the humans. humans, and which is called as a MERS outbreak in 2012. So that was also being transferred from the bats only. And now currently the new strain of the virus, which is transfer again from the bats only to pangolin, and these pangolins, when come in contact with the humans, they have transferred it to the humans, and now this virus is transferred from humans to humans. So the name of this latest virus, coronavirus, is the SARS CoV-2 virus, because it shows a kind of similarity with the SARS virus which infected in 2002, right? So that's why the name has been given to it as the SARS CoV-2 virus, and the disease which it is causing is known as a COVID-19 disease, right? So this is regarding a general idea what is this virus and how is this spreading. So the symptoms of the infection with this SARS-CoV-2 virus is that you may have a high fever, or will have a cough or shortness of breath. If any of these symptoms is happening to you, please do consult your doctors, okay, and get it properly checked and diagnosed with it. In severe cases, pneumonia can also occur. So how this virus spread? Basically, if somebody is infected with this particular virus, whenever they sneeze or cough, they release a lot of droplets into the air, and these droplets contain a lot of virus particle also. So whenever these virus particle will travel in the air, and if somebody will inhale that particular air, that virus will go into their lungs, right? For example, in the public place, if somebody is sneezing or somebody coughs, so the nearby people also get infected with this particular virus. So what is the correct way of sneezing? Is this the correct way of sneezing which is depicted in these particular two pictures? No. So is this the correct way which is now mentioned over here, that you should use your palm and cover your mouth in order to sneeze or cough? Not at all. Even this is wrong. So what is the correct method? So to combat all these germs, because mostly what you're doing is, whenever you're coughing, by covering your mouth, you are just transferring all these germs onto your hand, and whenever you are going to touch this germs containing hand onto your nose, eyes or mouth, you are going to transfer that infection into yourself, right? So don't do that. This is a wrong method. So what are the do's and the don'ts which you should follow for getting prevented from this particular virus infection? Is that, first of all, you should not do this thing that you should cover your mouth with a hand. You should use tissue and just dispose that tissue after use into a closed bin. If you don't have a tissue, then use your flex arm and just cough like this, which is shown in this particular image. This is the correct way as depicted by the WHO. Either you can use the mask also, although the use of the mask is not at all recommended until and unless you have a COVID-19 disease or you have a SARS-CoV-2 infection, right? Why? Because what happens is, when a healthy person is using a mask, people have this tendency that they will keep on adjusting this mask with their hands, and there may be a probability that you may transfer the infection with your dirty hands onto your nose and mouth while adjusting your mask, and that infection can pass on to your lungs while inhalation. So don't use a mask unnecessarily if you are not infected, or if you don't have any people around you who are infected with this particular infection. Okay, don't use that mask. If anyone is infected around you, or if you yourself is infected, then yes, you should use the mask, otherwise not. Then the second thing you need to understand is that don't greet anybody by shaking hands. This is a wrong method. Don't do it, because currently now you can pass on the infection by shaking hands from one person to another. Just use a gesture of hi from 3 feet distance, or you can do the namaste, the traditional Indian method of greeting somebody. And even if you have did the handshake by mistake, so please wash your hands with the soap water. If soap is not available, then you can use the hand sanitizer. Even hand sanitizer, I'm reading that it is gone out of stock in the market. So what you can do is, you can just prepare your hand sanitizer by yourself. You can buy a Dr. Spirit from any medical shop, and you can just mix it with the equal quantity of water in it, and that will make your hand sanitizer. You can use that also if soap water is not available when you are traveling or whenever you are out of your home, right? Otherwise, the best method is just wash your hands with the soap and water. Also, avoid any crowded place going currently. Don't go to any malls or any public places where public gathering is there, or avoid any private gathering also, because you never know who is infected in that particular crowd and you may get the infection. So avoid that thing. Even avoid any travel to abroad or any other place that may cause the great chances of infection. Avoid touching your T-zone, which is your eyes, nose and the mouth part. So don't do that, you may pass on the infection. Avoid the close contact with any other person, right? So these are the do's and the don'ts which you should follow. So the things which are marked with a yellow cross, do remember them, that you don't have to do all these things, just follow the good things only. Now talking about how this infection is spread, so as I've told you already, whenever a person sneezes, all these viruses which are present in these particles, they will also get into the other person who is in contact with that particular infected individual, and that virus then enter into the lungs of that particular individual. So you can see here in this particular image, this is a virus in the environment, and this goes into the lungs of the other person, and when it goes into the lungs, how it will spread, you can see here in this particular animation that they will be endocytosed by our healthy cells, and then these viruses hijack our healthy cells, and finally they start replicating and producing their multiple copies inside our lungs and keep on increasing the infection. So this is how this viral infection is spreading, and once this started, so then doctors will keep you in a separate isolation room like this, and during this period, they keep it for around 14 days. That is the quarantine period, quarantine period for this particular infection. So during this period, you will be tested by means of the diagnosis procedure which are done is by using the chest CT scan, and also at microscopic level the researchers or the doctors will visualize your samples. If they show some kind of a sign for this particular viral infection, so in the microscope you will visualize the virus like this way. So this is an electron microscopy view of this particular viruses. There will be like crown like shape will be present on the periphery, and this crown is basically, that's why the name corona is being named, because corona in Latin means crown. So due to the structure of these viruses, this is known as coronaviruses. So they will be visualized by, these are the diagnostic procedure. Also they will diagnose by means of a real-time PCR. So real-time PCR is also being done for the detection that whether you are infected with this particular virus or not during this isolation period of 14 days, right? And if all these tests confirms that your this virus infection is there, then you will be declared that you are positive for this COVID, or you are positive for the SARS CoV-2 virus. And normally these viruses have been given a reproductive number. So normally these reproductive number is being named as R0, and if R0 is 1, that means a one individual which is infected can infect further a one more person. If R0 is 2, that means one individual, if it is infected, it can infect he can infect two more individual. If it is 3, that means if one individual can infect 3 more individuals, like so on. That is how the R0 is being given. And if I talk about this particular SARS-CoV-2 virus, so this R0 number is being given is approximately 2.5 is being given. So that is kind of an average one, right? For example, if I talk about China has already declared that their R0 number has been reduced to almost 0.32, which is if it goes less than 1, then that particular area will be regarded as that the outbreak is over in that particular area. So that's why the China's outbreak is almost over for this particular coronavirus infection now. India is still struggling for it because this R0 number is increasing day by day. So that's a serious concern, and that's why these important measures has been taken by Indian government and Maharashtra government, that please that all the colleges and schools, offices, everything is closed, and everything like transport is being banned. So please follow all these rules which is being marked, because this will help in controlling this outbreak in India. So this is the structure of this coronavirus. Normally this coronavirus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, is consist of a single stranded RNA, which is a positive sense RNA, and also it is surrounded by these proteins, which are, this is the M proteins, then E proteins, envelope proteins, then E protein is there, then S protein is there. So this is a basic structure, and in the electron microscope, as I have told you, it looks like this. And how do they infect any cells? They bind to those cells with the help of receptors, and then cells, the healthy cells, the epithelial cells of our lungs, they will endocytose these viruses, and then these viruses hijack our cells and then take the cellular machinery to replicate themselves, and then they just come out of these cells and infect the other cells, and this healthy cells will be dead. So this is how they are spreading inside the infection inside our lungs. Talking about the treatment, so research is going on this. Scientists are working on it. They are studying the genetic gene study of these viruses. They are studying this RNA, single stranded RNA of these viruses. Okay, so study is going on, and also talking about the drugs. So two of the drugs has proved to be very promising. One is the chloroquine, which is anti-malarial drug, and remdesivir. This is being proved very good against some of the patients, most of the patients actually, which are infected with this SARS-CoV-2 viruses in China also. So remdesivir, again this clinical trial is going on, and soon this if the FDA approval will be granted, this can come in the market as a source of treatment against this particular disease, COVID-19 disease. So clinical trials still going on, so we cannot use these drugs currently, but let's hope very soon some positive results comes. Vaccines, till now no vaccine is available, but yes, as I have told you that human trial is already started. First human trial is started in US for against the vaccine, so maybe probably in 18 months, next 18 months we'll have a vaccine in the market against this particular virus. So currently the precautionary measures and maintaining the personal hygiene is the real key to fight with this particular virus. So follow all these do's and don'ts which I have told you in this particular video, and together we can definitely win against this particular virus. So stay healthy, stay alert, stay aware. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.